Good day, St. Mark's, Pastor Gus. In my pastoral message today, I'd like to talk about the theme of reopening. What does reopening mean in your life and my life? This past week, as you know, I preached a sermon on John chapter 10, where Jesus tells us that he's a good shepherd. And the 23rd Psalm, where we read, "The Lord is our shepherd, and we shall not be in want." We talked about still waters and green pastures, fearing no evil, the table in the wilderness, the overflowing cup, daily goodness and mercy. We alluded to images of shepherd, gatekeeper and gate, sheep, thieves and bandits. These readings were full of metaphors, each one having something to do with life and life abundant. They were words we needed to hear. They are words we still need to hear. But the metaphor of the gate is what gets my attention today. Jesus says that he's the gate. Gates open, gates close. Gates keep sheep in, and they keep thieves and bandits out. Gates close to death, and they open to life. Jesus is a gate that encloses and protects what is of value. And he is the gate that opens to pastures of abundance, still waters of abundance, tables of abundance, cups of abundance. I came, Jesus says, that they may have life and have life abundantly. I'm attracted to that gate metaphor, you see, because it fits what is really happening in our country, in our state, in our cities, your life and my life today. And I'm talking about reopening. When will we reopen? That's the question of the day. What will it take and how will we do it? What will happen when we do reopen? You see, questions about reopening have been on everyone's mind at some level, but more so in the last week or two. Reopening is in the news every day now. Our president, governor, and mayor, they're all talking about and planning for it. People are protesting in favor of and against reopening. Dr. Fauci and other medical experts are offering cautions and guidance about when and how reopening should occur. Business owners are deciding what to do. For some, the answer is clear. For others, it's not. Taken together, they don't tell us whether the gate should be opened or closed. They just tell us that the gate swings both ways. And I suspect that you've also asked the same reopening questions. And you probably have some thoughts on what the answers are or should be. We're not lacking in opinions about if, when, and how we should reopen, but whose voice do you listen to and trust in the reopening? Political leaders? Medical experts? The press? Social media? Whose lead do you follow? And where and how does the Jesus Gate fit in all that you do? A few days ago, we moved from talking about reopening to doing it. And while reopening is already happening, the question of reopening remains. It's a question I've thought a lot about myself. But I'm not talking about the reopening of the country, the economy, or business, restaurants, hair salons, or even our church. I worry that if somehow we reopen the world around us before we reopen the life within us, we will find ourselves more closed tomorrow, next week, and the next month than we have been the last several weeks. I worry that we will choose an economic life over an abundant life. And what will it profit us if we gain the whole world but forfeit our life? Scripture says in Matthew chapter 16, verse 26. So when I speak about reopening, I'm talking about reopening as an Easter question for you and me. I'm talking about reopening our eyes, reopening our hearts, reopening our lives. I'm talking about reopening ourselves to something new, something different, something unexpected. I'm talking about reopening to life and life abundant, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. What does that mean for you and me today? Where is your life abundant and my life abundant? Now keep in mind that abundance is not something that we get or possess. It's a way of living and being. It's a way of relating to others and engaging the world. It's a way of engaging one another and God. The abundant life is not about quantity, wealth, or success, approval, or popularity, security, being number one, or any of those other things that we often think it is. The abundant life is a quality of life, not a quantity of stuff. It's about faith and hope. It's about love. It's about goodness and mercy. It's more about compounding value than it is about compounding interest. You see, the abundant life adds to and enhances our lives and the lives of others. It refuses to add to the pain of the world. It is life that leads to life, love that leads to love. It's joy that leads to joy. It's hope that leads to hope. Courage that leads to courage. Kindness that leads to kindness. Generosity that leads to generosity. Beauty that leads to beauty. Forgiveness that leads to forgiveness. Dignity that leads to dignity. Gratitude that leads to gratitude. Sisters and brothers, it's life that leads to more life. Abundance encompasses the deep qualities and values of your life and mine, the things that matter most and give your life and my life meaning, purpose, and value. It is what opens our hearts to others. What if, as you and I face the question of reopening, we were to listen to and follow the shepherd within us? What if each one of us decided to let the shepherd's voice guide our reopening? I think it might change us. It might change our relationships. It might change our community. It might actually change our world. That shepherd, that one who leads and guides and calls us each by name, that shepherd, that's the shepherd that will never abandon us, betray us, or mislead us. The Lord is our shepherd, and we shall not be in want. Amen.